Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
Kulturecast. I'm Chris Stachiw.
And I'm Sean Liang.
And today we are joined by a good friend of mine and frequent guest co-host of the Kulturecast, Quinn Fleming.
Oh, why, hello.
Lothar, oh god.
For the Horde.
For the Alliance. Oh, Christ. If you can't tell by our Warcraft references and shout-outs at the beginning of this episode, we're going to be talking about the 2016 video game adaptation of Warcraft, otherwise known as Warcraft: The Beginning. The film was directed by the immensely talented Duncan Jones, and it stars a cavalcade of up-and-coming and well-known actors, including Travis Fimmel, Paula Patton, Dominic Cooper, Toby Kebbell, and the hilariously cast Ben Foster. But before we get to Warcraft, Quinn, have you been watching anything this week?
That's a good question. Have I? I just watch Game of Thrones and Silicon Valley right now. I like those two shows. Silicon Valley is great. Gets me every time.
Yes. Tell me more about how you like Game of Thrones.
I
like everybody else.
I don't know if anybody watches this. This may be a pretty unpopular opinion, but, I kind of like that show, actually. So don't crucify me.
No, you're fine. Let's be honest here. Game of Thrones is good, but
it's not great.
It's overrated.
Yeah.
Like most
right.
TV is like that.
Yeah, but this is like one of those things. Like this for me is like Breaking Bad levels of overrated, where it's like the best show ever. Like I don't know about that. It's good, but
see the thing is too, like with George R.R. Martin not having written the stuff now that this is based off of, I think that also doesn't help because he's a pretty good writer, and at the very least he's obviously spent a shitload of time thinking about all of it. So now the writers just kind of have to do it as they go.
Now the writers are literally not spending 5 episodes just doing one thing.
They're just basically looking at the message boards of what people say are like the prominent fan theories, and they're like, oh, we should just do this.
Yeah, but some of those fan theories, like, come on, they were going to happen anyways.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I just started watching that show.
Game of Thrones?
Yeah, we just sort of started watching. I'm still going to have to, go back and rewatch some episodes, but...
Dude, at the beginning of that show, I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, it's taking some time.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a steep learning curve.
Doesn't help that, first episode, it's like Robert comes in and he says hi to everyone, and there's, 100 fucking people there who you have no idea who they are.
Exactly.
Oh boy.
I don't know. If you can get past the first season, it picks up.
Yeah, and there's definitely characters you find out are far more important than others.
Yeah. I'm starting to see that because I'm also like sort of watching like the current episodes. It's like I'm watching it with my friends are watching it, so I'm just watching it, and I'm like not concerned about anything anymore. I've given up. You know what I mean? Like, but I am interested now in watching the last couple episodes and going back and kind of watching it from the beginning because it, like you said. By now, you kind of know who's important, and it kind of helps me to go back and see, you know, who's still there.
Yeah, like I'm guessing, like you've seen the first season, maybe, or you're in the season. Yeah, so obviously Ned Stark's going to be an important character throughout the whole thing.
Right. Still there.
You fucking troll. You're a troll, Quinn.
And I'm an obvious one at that.
What about you, Sean? You been watching anything?
I've been watching. Well, I've been catching up on, or sort of watching Game of Thrones. But we just watched Clown. I finally got all your text messages, and I watched Clown, because it's now on like Amazon, and it was fun. I liked that movie a lot. It was the director of the new Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you. I was surprised.
It's not nuts. It's crazy. But it's a really good movie. I mean, I think it's visually, it's a really fun horror movie. It's kind of a really cool, it almost feels like a throwback for some reason, but it's done some nice classic horror moments in that movie, and it's really fun. They go all the way with these kids, which is like, there's lots of child murder.
Dude, it's been on VOD for like 2 years.
Really? I haven't been.
I've had it downloaded since
because it was supposed to come out
2014.
Yeah, because it's supposed to have been released a long time ago.
Yeah. I need to get around and watch it. I still haven't gotten a chance to, so hopefully, maybe, probably not, but someday I'll watch it.
Yeah.
What have I been watching? I watched Finding Dory.
Oh, what'd you think?
All the feels, dude.
Yeah, I can't wait.
God, dude. Oh my God. It takes a lot to move me to tears.
Yeah, that's why I'm excited.
Like, first 10 minutes. Like legit, dude. If you can make it through the first 10 minutes of that movie, like without like legit, just like hardcore feels. Oh my God. What else? I've been watching like a lot of conspiracy theory shows.
Wait, which ones?
Alien Autopsy, Fact or Fiction on Netflix.
Love it. Actually, yes, I've seen that.
Conspiracy theory. Did we land on the moon? The best caught footage of UFOs ever on tape. I think that's what it's called. These were all like shit that Fox ran in like the mid 90s. To like capitalize on the UFO craze that they had sparked by the X-Files. Mm-hmm.
You really just can't have enough conspiracy theory shows out there because they're just so much fun to watch.
They really are like a hell of a lot of fun. Like, you remember Quinn coming over to my old place when we lived in Denton and like watching the fucking Bigfoot show where the woman's talking about handing Bigfoot garlic?
Yeah.
Like, those shows they're just a fucking hoot. I mean, Ancient Aliens. Gee.
If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror. We'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Jesus Christ.
I love those shows.
That's
I used to watch them with my
love
mom.
Ancient Aliens.
Ancient Aliens is like the pinnacle. It's like the master class in conspiracy theory shows. I mean, it's gotten such like wide acclaim and kind of following that the Giorgio Salakos, the guy, the alien meme guy, was in a commercial during the Super Bowl for Taco Bell. I mean, it's kind of garnered that widespread appeal. So I've just been watching a lot of conspiracy shows, and then I started listening to this conspiracy podcast, which is like the rabbit hole goes even deeper. Yes. I'm gonna plug the higher side chats here right now. It is some next level conspiracy. Yeah, check it out. If you're into conspiracy theories, it will like it will make you question things.
Are we ruled by lizard people?
Oh, dude, lizard people, archons, the Rothschilds, dude, the Pope and the Jesuits, and God, who knows? Everybody's got a theory, man. And the other thing I watched was the utter disappointment and complete implosion that was the NBA Finals, which was like the biggest fucking joke in the history of basketball. LeBron James, no doubt he's a good player, but you didn't need any help to win the finals, but the NBA took it upon themselves to give you help. So
I would agree with that. Golden State had to win Game 5 because they had some injuries, and like Andrew Bogut and Andre Iguodala, and Curry obviously wasn't 100% after he fucked up his knee.
And then, you don't have one of your best players, one of your best like position players. Oops.
Yeah. But LeBron played so well, like 30-plus points per game, leading his team in points, rebounds, blocks, steals, and assists. Like every major category. Just insane carrying them to the finals like that. I'm happy for Cleveland.
I'm not. You ever been to Cleveland?
Exactly.
See, that's the difference. I've been to Cleveland.
Cleveland needs this, man.
No, they don't. Cleveland needs to allow that fire that was burning on the lake to migrate to land and raise the city just completely. Whatever. King James, dude. That's all I know. He's the king. King James. God, what's such a fucking condescending nickname on top of everything else?
Maybe Michael Jordan is the emperor.
Yeah, right? Like, ugh. At least Michael Jordan was just MJ, not King Jordan. Ugh, whatever. Anyway, speaking of raising and burning and pillaging, let's talk about Warcraft.
Sure.
Film came out this year. Like I mentioned earlier, it's directed by Duncan Jones. The IMDb synopsis for the film is a mouthful. The peaceful realm of Azeroth stands on the brink of war as its civilization faces a fearsome race of invaders. Orc warriors fleeing their dying home to colonize another. As a portal opens to connect the two worlds, one army faces destruction and the other faces extinction. From opposing sides, two heroes are set on a collision course that will decide the fate of their family, people, and their home.
For years, our world has been at peace. But something is coming. I can feel it. Dark forces are upon us.
Find these beasts, or whatever they are.
Our world is dying. There is nothing to go back to. If our people are to survive, we must make a home here. Whatever happens.
Whatever happens. If we do not unite, our world will perish.
This doesn't need to happen. There is one who may help us.
For orcs, there is no other life but war. No, but with the humans' help, there could be.
Why are you here?
To save our people.
Can we trust him?
They're beasts. They should all be destroyed.
Are you sure about that? We'll protect the kingdom. You and I.
You'd side with the humans against your own kind.
This is suicide.
We have no choice. We should attack with full force.
Whatever you plan to do it now!
Come on, that's not sufficient. They didn't even talk about the Fel. They didn't even talk about the intricacies of apparent portal magic where you have to have one person on either side to do it. They didn't talk about the demons. They didn't talk about... I'm just kidding.
Jesus.
There's a lot of exposition, though, in the movie.
There is a lot. So I'm actually going to ask Sean first his thoughts, because I kind of already know Quinn's, because him and I have talked before the podcast. And Sean is the true outsider, because Quinn and I both have experience and exposure to the Warcraft world. So Sean, being a complete outsider to Warcraft and the mythology and lore of the video game universe, what do you think of the film?
And before you begin, remember that there's two of us and one of you.
That's fair. I know. I've actually been like, I know this is going to be a tough one, because I did not like this movie. I just, but it's like, for a lot of reasons. For mainly because I'm just I'm just so on the outside here, and it might be very ethnocentric of me to say, but whenever I can't even like pronounce the names, let alone like remember or like, you know what I mean, or like spell them, like I just have a difficult time keeping up. I don't know. I just cannot follow. And it's so stupid, like that's something that like holds me back so much. But like, I have like this like resistance towards that, and it's like it just tends to be. That's one of the reasons why I'm like behind on Game of Thrones, you know, or like I'm not into it as much. But like, it's also just like the overload of CGI, and if I don't have one, like if I'm not into the story, then I need to at least be into like, you know, it's not the fakeness just didn't help me out in any way. You know what I mean? There was no like balance for me. I didn't enjoy both of them at the same time. So I don't know. I had trouble paying attention to this movie. It was rough for me. It was a little rough.
It's like a lot of like overwhelming like scenery and CGI, right? Compared to just like not a super compelling story.
Exactly. And like, that's the thing. It's like, like you said, there's a lot of exposition. It's like literally introducing this entire world, like two worlds. And I understand, like, I get, like, if I knew what was going on already, or if I had, like, an idea, like, I had no idea, like, I literally didn't know what this movie was going to be about. So, it's just difficult for me to jump in, you know, like that. Like, it was difficult for me to, I don't know, like, I remember when I saw the Pokemon movie, for example, like, it was a completely different world, like, like brand new rules, and for me, I didn't see the shows. So, and I jumped into that movie having no background knowledge of Pokemon, but I really latched onto the story. And for me, it was enough to get interested in the rest of it, you know, but I just couldn't, for some reason, it was the CGI that didn't help me in this case. Maybe it helped other people, but I just couldn't get into it. I don't know.
Power of Ash loving Pikachu.
That's right.
He brings him back after crying.
That's really sad songs. Exactly. You got to cry with it. Yeah, I was into that.
Our courage will pull us through.
What about you, Quinn? Like I kind of gave away a little bit, you are a Warcraft fan, as I am, and have logged countless hours in WoW and just the RTS games. So what's kind of your take on the film?
A lot more for me of the earlier RTS games. So for me, I hardly ever played World of Warcraft and had trouble getting into it. I don't know, I just felt like it was a grind that was very boring. So I don't think I got past like a level 20 character or something. I mean, seriously. So I hardly played that at all. However, I grew up playing, I didn't play Warcraft 1. I did briefly play it a little bit later, but I don't even remember much about it. I played a lot of Warcraft 2. That was like my introduction to RTS games. I mean, I must have played it when I was in like 5th grade when it came out around then. Well, no, it would have come out years before. But anyway, that was sort of one of my introductions to RTS. And then, of course, Warcraft 3 I played a lot of. But Warcraft 2 especially has a special spot in my heart. And I've sort of followed the story since then, even though I've never played WoW all that much. So, I was kind of excited that this movie was getting made, but I thought it was going to be so bad that I was just like, oh no. Kind of, you know. I walked into the movie expecting nothing, and for me, I was pleasantly surprised because it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I saw all these terrible reviews, and I thought, oh, this movie's just going to be just garbage. It looked like it was garbage from the trailers. I was like, this is just going to be garbage. And at least I got to walk out thinking, you know, that was all right. And I was actually pretty happy to see it. I walked out with a smile on my face. And but that's just because I'm kind of into the story because I've played the games. And I think that's what does it for me. Like all the Chinese people who are watching it who are going to fund the next movie that gets made.
I mean, you're not wrong about that. This movie essentially changed the way blockbusters are quantified in kind of the world of cinema.
So I think it was worth watching for me because I knew the story. And although, like I said, I hadn't played Warcraft 1, which is essentially what the story revolves around. Although a lot of it's left out since the Fel isn't really introduced until Warcraft 3. And a lot of this goes back and tells about the Fel rather than just like in Warcraft 3, it's just kind of, they never go back and necessarily tell everything that happened. I think sometimes they do, but it's just kind of implied what happens. And then this movie actually explicitly shows it. There's also comic books and stuff. I haven't read them. The comics and things that Blizzard put out, I'm sure, actually do that. And also in this movie, it was interesting for me to follow. Like, they did make some changes with the characters compared to the games, at least. I don't know about the comics and the graphic novels or whatever that they put out. Or at least things that they didn't explain very much that certainly seemed to be different.
Right.
But no, actually, there were definite changes. There are definitely things I could talk about that are changes from like the canon.
The canon.
But it's interesting because it's, obviously it's a movie instead of a game or a book. So obviously they changed some things.
I really liked the movie more than I thought I would. I think that kind of goes back to what you were talking about, Quinn, with, having these really low, we're talking like really low expectations here.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the reality of the situation with video game movies is normally they're absolutely awful. And this movie was not nearly as bad as I anticipated it was going to be. I don't know how you feel about that, Sean, but I mean, what were your kind of expectations going into the film?
Well, that's actually what I was going to talk to you because I only know World of War. Like, I remember when I was in middle school, there was like an administrator who was hanging out in the lunchroom and he was trying to get to know kids, I guess. And he asked, I guess, like his point of like reference, he looked at me and he asked if I played World of Warcraft. And I said no. I failed to live up to his his profile. But
sounds like you evaded being. I won't say it, but
what are you?
Everybody's thinking. Sounds like you evaded being a prey for a child predator.
Probably, maybe that's what saved my life. Who knows? But yeah, so no, I never played it, but what I always thought of it as like sort of like a social game, like where you like build communities and like build like armies, and like it's more about the process of building, like a Sims, than it was about
for nerds.
Right, that's what I thought of it as. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and for me, like you said, it's hard enough for a video game to make a good movie, but let alone something like with such a broad subject as war. And like, for me, that's all I know. That's all I know about. And I'm like, what is this going to be about? Building an army. You know what I mean? And I guess maybe that's like I don't know, like that. I didn't know what to expect because that's honestly all I know about Warcraft in general. I don't know.
It's just your previous exposure to it.
Yeah. And I didn't know how that would make a movie. Like, I don't know how you find a narrative in that, but I guess that's kind of what and I don't know. I didn't know about the other games either. So.
Well, and see that was the kind of the thing with me and this is I didn't really know kind of any of the stuff, like the intricacies of the story.
Yeah.
And the movie, I feel like it tried to do a pretty good job of explaining that. But, when you kind of look at the story that they're trying to tell in this movie, the story in and of itself of these two warring factions, the orcs and the humans, it's not particularly complex.
Right.
Which is, that's kind of the real issue with the film is that the story they're trying to tell isn't necessarily complex, these two warring factions, but it seems like they almost kind of went out of their way to make it complicated. to add stuff. Like you mentioned the thing with the Fel, which is this kind of this black magic. It seems like they just added like unnecessary amounts of stuff, which then, would confuse
Right.
So interestingly, Warcraft 1 and 2, before they made Warcraft 3, where they kind of changed up the story, there was no Fel or anything. It was just orcs versus humans. Orcs were just bloodthirsty killers, and then Durotan was just kind of this guy who wanted to break away from the orcs for sort of unknown reasons. As far as I can remember, anyway. I could be getting that wrong, but the Fel was introduced to make it more complicated than just like bloodthirsty orcs versus humans. Like that there was this whole demon thing that the demons were giving the orcs the Fel magic, which was causing them to be bloodthirsty, and they had a choice of whether to take it or not. Although oftentimes they were forced by their own people, like Gul'dan doing it, because Gul'dan's fucking stupid. But yeah, when, at least in the games, there's not that complication. When they do this, they're basically trying to tell two stories at once. So they have a lot to explain, basically, is what I'm saying. They're trying to tell, basically, Warcraft 1 and 3 at the same time.
Right. And I feel like that, like I said, it was an unnecessary amount of, like, I don't know, it's just, if I had no exposure like Sean, I would probably be like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. Because there are times where the film doesn't give any exposition at all.
Because, like you said, it's a very simple structure as far as, like, the story. I got that from the very beginning. Like, they tell you what's going on, But then it's just the details and the fabric that I get so lost in. And, I made it, it's something simple as names, before. But it's other concepts that I just, I only have assumptions on, what I heard about before. And, like, in this case, I didn't have a lot. And so, like, those details in those small moments that they don't explain, it really kind of throws me, kind of lose me.
I kind of wonder if they just made a decision where they're like, okay, we're only, like, people who don't watch Warcraft aren't going to, or haven't played Warcraft aren't going to watch this movie.
And that totally makes sense. I mean, the fact that they call it just Warcraft, you know what I mean? Like, I really don't know what that is, unless I played the game, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's interesting. It's an interesting thought.
I don't know.
And that's my issue with all of this, is obviously with the Chinese kind of success that the film has had, which the success that this film has had in China has officially changed the way we look at blockbuster films. The film made not that much money in the US, but in China, I mean, Jesus, the film made, in the United States, it made $40 million, which is not bad. Mind you, the film's budget was $160 million. However, in the other territories being overseas, China, it made $340 million.
Wow.
So far.
Right? And that's as of yesterday. Yeah. That's numbers as of yesterday. So my point is here, this film really has changed the way the blockbuster films are going to be kind of seen moving forward, right?
Right.
Because now you don't have to necessarily make a film that is successful in the United States.
Exactly. As long as it has an overall giant audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I can't say I'm surprised that the film has been as successful as it is stateside. Successful, I honestly thought it was going to completely bomb. But I'm not surprised at all by the success that the film has had in China and overseas. Yeah. Because that's their biggest market for the game, right? I mean, that's what I've always heard is their biggest market is China.
That makes sense.
I think the way I feel about this movie too is so tell me if I'm wrong, because I don't know a lot about this, but just from my basic understanding, movies with high budgets that have like lots of CGI and explosions, like Michael Bay movies are perfect examples, I think, as far as I'm aware, like Transformers or like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Like, the story can be like pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
But like, they sell well. Like,
Transformers movies are bad.
I'm sorry if I offend somebody.
Wink, wink.
I'm sorry if I offend somebody here named Yashar.
Oh, shots fired.
I love it when you guys hate on Yashar.
But sorry, Yashar, as always. I know you'll never accept my apologies. That's okay.
I love Yashar. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
I do too. Even if he doesn't believe me. Like those kind of movies do well overseas, just as far as I know, right? Like in
Absolutely.
China too. Like, and I felt like they kind of went that way with this movie. I felt like there really were things they could talk about that were compelling. Like they could have a compelling story instead of just showing a bunch of like random shit happening, kind of, and like crazy battle scenes in between. Like, okay, here's a good example. Like, Chris, you mentioned earlier with Medivh, right? Like,
Right.
that his whole character wasn't that like interesting.
Well, I mean, Ben Foster in this film was not good.
Yeah, I don't think he was a good choice.
No, not at all.
But so with his character, I think his character is actually pretty interesting because, okay, here's what happened with Medivh, and I think this is actually, they never explicitly say it in the movie or even get you to really understand it, but it's what happened in the movie. You just don't realize it. Is that before Medivh was born, he had a demon like come into his body and take over him. Like while he was in the womb, and then this demon is corrupting him his entire life while he's alive, and he has to deal with this as he's supposed to protect like one of the biggest kingdoms in the world, and so he's being like corrupted this entire time, and he is able to fight it off for that long. Obviously, the movie does say that, like, for instance, there were certain things that he didn't even know that he had done. But then when he finally succumbs, it's like, I don't know, in the movie it's kind of like, God damn it, Medivh, really? I don't know. Like, there's a little silver lining where he's like, oh, I'm sorry at the end. But, like, he had a fucking, like, demon living inside of him his entire life. Like, it's amazing he could hold on that long, I thought. But I don't know. There's just things like that. So you kind of get that with the demon, like, popping out at the end, but I don't think you really, like, understand, like, they don't really talk about, like, the gravity of, like, that kind of, like, fuck-uppedness. You know what I mean?
Well, again, I think that a lot of the problems in this film stem from something that Sean talked about, which is the film's inherent lack of ability to tell a story that is coherent.
Yeah, no.
Because I had no idea that that's what was fucking happening.
Yeah.
Did you, Sean?
No way. I was like, oh. I didn't want to, like, the whole time I feel like stupid because I couldn't, yeah.
Yeah, like, it's just like,
and that's my problem with this entire film is like there were points in this film where I literally had no idea like what was happening, and I consider myself to be a pretty astute movie goer.
I mean, it's interesting that you say that, like, now that we're talking about like the way it's received in different parts of the world, it totally makes sense. Like, I didn't even really think about that. But this is exactly the kind of movie that does well all across the globe because it has just enough of everything. You know what I mean? Like, story never is really that important for these movies because, like you said, they're watching it for like those big action sequences and like the CGI, and like they're looking for characters that they pretty much know already. But like, it's one of the reasons why we don't sell comedies overseas very well. You know what I mean? Because that takes, you know, cultural and like language, like understanding, you know, that just, so it makes sense that like the story here is sort of lacking and yet is doing so well.
Well, and I mean the base of people that are interested in this property are already built in.
Right, exactly.
Right? I mean, they're built in from the get-go. The Warcraft, the world of Warcraft is such a fucking popular, successful franchise and property that this was going to be a successful movie even if it wasn't stateside.
Absolutely. People are going to see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about kind of the film in generalities. Let's talk a little bit about the performances, and we've kind of hinted at them a little bit. I had never seen Travis Fimmel in anything up until this point. I know that he's on Vikings.
Yeah.
And I had never seen Toby Kebbell I had seen Toby Kebbell in the abomination that was the Fantastic Four film last year. But before I kind of give my thoughts, what are y'all's thoughts on the performances in the film?
So for me personally, the one that kind of stood out, maybe you guys will think differently than me, but I'm looking here at Wikipedia, and the guy who plays King Lane Rin, the king guy, is Dominic Cooper. I like that guy. So when I saw the trailer, he didn't strike me as particularly king-like in any way. Like, usually when you think of a king-like guy, you're thinking of, like, I don't know, Ben Kingsley, or somebody who's got, like, a deep voice and, like, has a commanding presence. And that guy does not. But surprisingly, with few lines, I thought he commanded sort of most of the, at least for me, like, the most emotionally engaging parts of the movie. Maybe you disagree, but, like, for instance, when he dies and his body's, like, literally being, like, tossed around for, like, 5 minutes by different people. The orcs are like, "Oh, look, you killed him," and then, like, Gul'dan's like, "Oh, you killed him, nice," and then he's just, everyone wants to touch his dead body, and then Lothar gets his dead body. Everyone wants to touch the dead King Rin, I guess. But I mean, other than that, like, there weren't a lot of, like, really emotional parts. I like Travis Fimmel, even if, like, his character wasn't, like, super interesting. Although, like, he's just, like, a hero. Done. That's it.
Check.
Yeah, there's not a whole. He's not. His character's not exactly deep.
Yeah.
Although, like, so spoilers for Warcraft 2, but I think it would be interesting if they took it in this direction. So, like, Lothar is just, like, a symbol of, like, hope to people and, like, a hero, like the prototype, like, King Arthur, kind of, I guess, maybe. Like, just a prototype hero, right? And he becomes, like, the leader of the alliance of, like, all the human kingdoms fighting against the orcs. And it's interesting that there's, like, not anything special that they put into his character, I feel like. Like I said, he's just, like, just a hero, right? Nothing really special. And he just fucking, like, so if this is going to be like the games, he just, like, fucking leads his troops into battle and just gets wiped, and that's it. And then, like, from then on, the humans are, like, fucked. So that could be, like, a dark turn in, like, Warcraft 2, is, like, this hero, there's nothing really special about it, like, comes in, you know, he takes all the guys and he just charges in, and they just get fucking destroyed.
I mean, yeah, that was kind of the takeaway I came away with in the film.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, who else was interesting? That was what caught my eye.
I really liked Paula Patton.
Oh, come on.
I'm sorry, I did.
No, she's the worst part of this movie. Her makeup alone.
That's one of the reasons why I was like happy, is because, like, I liked it through all that crap. I still liked her.
Her makeup was awful.
I mean, fair.
Right? I mean, it was awful.
Yeah.
It like, admittedly, it was awful,
yeah,
right?
Totally. But that's what I still liked. I mean, in spite of all that, I don't know. That's what I remembered. I liked her a lot because I really liked Dominic Cooper too. I love that scene, actually. That was kind of memorable for me. But yeah, I remember her too. I really liked Paula Patton, just crying and bloody.
I don't know. I want to say my favorite performance in the film was Toby Kebbell as Durotan. And he somehow was able to have a better performance as a
CGI character.
As a CGI.
See, I don't even know who. I'm trying to remember who that is.
Durotan is the main guy.
Oh, okay. Oh, the big, yeah.
The main orc.
I liked him too. Yeah.
See, he is the most human performance in the film, and the only one that I really kind of sympathized with. And that's sad, considering how, you know, you have actual on-screen characters. Yeah. And I just could never, you know, Travis Fimmel as Lothar, Dominic Cooper, who seems to be in everything now. I just couldn't. Yeah, well, I mean, he's in
stuff.
He's in Marvel.
Cap America, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's he's Tony Stark's dad.
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh, that's.
And now he's in Preacher on AMC, and he's been in a lot of stuff. And he's a really talented actor. And I felt like, God, this movie just wasted him so much. And I don't know if maybe there's like going to be deleted scenes and there was more of his character and what he was kind of doing. But, you know, to me, his character was just absolutely boring. And so was Lothar. They were just super one-dimensional and not exciting.
Well, the reason I liked Dominic Cooper is just because I can't remember if I said this, but considering the lack of lines that he has, maybe he does a good job, I feel like, with what he's doing. But I don't know. I agree with you on Durotan. Durotan was good.
He's like the best part of the entire movie for me.
And now, I thought he was fucking dead.
Yeah. Jesus. That to me was just kind of such a disappointment that everyone else never really lives up to the heights that this actor was able to do through CGI.
Yeah, I agree. That was something that I was like noticing. He was really good.
But, Ben Foster completely his performance was all over the place. I mean, he really was. His performance went from good to goofy. Yeah, I don't know. I was disappointed by a lot of the performances in this film because I've seen these people in other things that were good.
Yeah.
And they weren't good in this film. And that kind of just disappointed me a lot because I really was hoping for some better performances out of people like Dominic Cooper or, Travis Fimmel or Ben Foster. Again, I don't understand what the point of Ben Foster was in this film because he was just so it was whacked out.
He didn't seem like a good casting choice. I don't know.
No, he did not. And he's a good actor. That was kind of my issue with it is he's such a good actor and it's just he was not able to pull off a convincing performance. So,
but the important thing is actually going to be if they make more movies. Kodga, no, but he's like, the real hero, or he's supposed to be the real hero moving forward. So he's probably the most important character, even though he isn't right now, because he kind of saves humanity. So, yeah.
So we've talked about the performances a little bit. Let's talk about the action, because obviously at the end of the day, this is an action fantasy film, kind of in the same vein of, Lord of the Rings, what have you. What did you guys think of the action and the big set pieces in the film?
Again, I kind of feel like, I kind of said this to Sean here. How do I say this? It was pretty spectacular. Amazingly, still only if... I don't know how this is even possible, but even with the set pieces, only spectacular if you enjoy Warcraft. Because I feel like if you enjoy Warcraft, you appreciate, the scale of, Medivh's fucking ginormous tower for no reason, and, Dalaran being this city floating in the sky for no reason, and, Draenor being this, fucking desert wasteland, and the really weird looking buildings, but they're only really weird looking because they take the exact fucking model from the games and from World of Warcraft, which took the models from the games. So it's weird that there's so much money they put into it, and yet it still feels like I really appreciate it as somebody who played the games. I'm like, holy shit, that's awesome. That looks so much like the games, but just more spectacular. But if you haven't played them, then I think you'd just be like, what the fuck? Why? Why is there just this? They just fly to this city in the sky, which is Dalaran. Cool. And it's you can't really appreciate it. I don't know if that makes any sense.
I think it makes a total sense. That's something that I kind of got the idea. I kind of sensed that watching it when it definitely looks like a video game. You know what I mean? It looks like, and I imagine that it definitely.
That's a good way to put it. It just looks like a fucking video game.
Yeah, and that's why I'm I totally get the usage of CGI and I keep saying that's I keep using that as a bad thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be, and I think that makes sense. It probably looks really cool to a fan, but for me, it just looks like it just looks like a mess to me, and it's hard to there's certain images still almost if I could freeze frame. It's almost like I could imagine that being the game board of a video game that I've seen before, and those are the sort of things where I can see what they're doing, and I can see that has an effect on a certain audience, but it definitely overall, it's not enough for me to be interested. I don't know. I remember like certain moments that were pretty cool. I just remember that fight on that scaffolding that just crumbles, and I think that that's like a really cool moment. It's like something that I would totally see out of the game, but at a much more like hyper like close up version of it. But overall, it kind of just meshes together to me.
No, I kind of agree with you to some extent, Sean. There's a lot of stuff in this movie that I don't really remember even sitting and thinking about it, only having watched it, last week.
Right. I agree.
And I'm not blaming Duncan Jones for that. I don't understand why Duncan Jones directed this movie. No, like really, and I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm talking about it from a standpoint of, it seems a little strange to me that Duncan Jones, someone who has a very distinct style, would direct a big budget film like this one, because this film is, really anyone could have directed this movie, right? Yeah. It doesn't have that distinctive style that I expect from a Duncan Jones film. Obviously, Moon or Source Code, I expect those kinds of films, and they have a very distinct style to them that is very, Duncan Jones. And then you look at this film, and this film doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't have that. And I wonder why they chose him as the director, because I don't feel like there was a point.
Oh,
and
you played a lot of World of Warcraft, Chris. You could have just directed it.
I mean, anyone who can direct, terribly written dialogue in some scenes, and, allow the people who film and do a lot of the CGI to kind of make sure that it looks, good and isn't just super quick cuts. I mean, really, this film could have been directed by any competent director that wasn't Duncan Jones.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I feel like they're just going for a name. I mean, he doesn't look like he has a whole lot going on. I mean, in production, he doesn't have, he's like one other movie. It really could have been just like getting a name. I mean, like, he is known for big movies that are like, like high concept, big visual movies like Source Code,
Yeah. And this really isn't that in my opinion.
Right.
He wants to draw more of an overseas crowd to his future movies.
Yeah, exactly.
that might be it. I don't know what the point is, but I didn't feel like Duncan Jones brought anything to this project. And he's not also the best at shooting action scenes. But again, I don't think that that's his fault.
Yeah.
That's my only kind of issue with this film, is that I don't know, I wasn't a huge fan of the action scenes. I was pretty much anytime the orcs weren't on screen, I kind of was just like, all right, can we get to the part where the orcs show up?
Exactly, yeah.
Because of how much I liked the orcs. I really liked the orc character of Durotan and Ogrim Doomhammer.
Yeah.
Yep. Although he is obviously going to play a big part in the next movie.
Well, and also, I don't know how far these movies go. I would hope that these movies go, as far as Warcraft 3, where we get to see Arthas.
Yeah. The positive here is that there shouldn't be nearly as much exposition in the future films.
Right, and I think that that's the big kind of point coming out of this film, is that this film did a good job, even if I wasn't a huge fan of it, of the amount of exposition. It did a good job of setting the stage for whatever comes next, and whatever comes next should be, less exposition-y and more streamlined.
Yeah.
If it was Warcraft 2, then it's going to be the humans forming an alliance around Anduin Lothar. He gets fucking crushed. And then there's a rift between the orcs. Ogrim Doomhammer becomes the war chief of the Horde, if you didn't know that, after Blackrock. And my understanding is Doomhammer wants to carry on Durotan's thing, where he wants to carve out a place for the orcs, but doesn't want to just kind of kill everybody and invade more worlds. Gul'dan's whole thing is he wants to gather artifacts so he can go invade more worlds. And then you have heroics with Khadgar leading small bands of humans around to basically defeat the orcs once and for all, in a nutshell, or at least close the dark portal. Although there's quite a bit with that, and there would be a lot more action. There there wouldn't be much to explain. And it'd be pretty dark, I would imagine, if people like that, because like it's pretty much humanity facing extinction for the entire fucking movie. Like at least in the game, you don't realize that there's a rift between Gul'dan and Orgrim Doomhammer until like when it happens, and up until that point, there was pretty much no way that humanity could fight off the orcs at all. But if what I'm saying makes any sense, I'm just trying to say that there's a lot of events that can happen without a whole lot of need to explain it.
Well, and that's my point, is that I'm excited to see where they go from here. And obviously, I think it's a pretty safe assumption at this point we're going to get another movie.
Yay, Chinese people.
Right, thank you, China.
Exactly.
China, you're great. But seriously, I mean, China is the overseas market is the reason we're getting another film.
Yep.
And I'm interested to see where they go with the next film, because they only have, upwards. It's only upwards from here as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ni hao, xie.
Yeah.
Xie ni. Really, thank you for breaking the mold of what is considered a blockbuster.
Yeah.
I also thought, and actually I talked with Chris about this, I thought this was the best video game movie ever. Not that that's really hard to do, but...
No, it's not. That's not even remotely hard to do.
Well, now it's officially the most successful video game movie ever.
Yes,
Yeah.
It passed Prince of Persia
did it?
as the most successful. Yes, it did.
Very nice.
So...
And the Angry Birds movie?
Wow.
I know nothing about that movie, other than I'm assuming it was really bad.
It's actually, it wasn't bad.
I'm going to go see it.
Really?
I'm going to see it.
I actually kind of enjoyed it. So, Quinn,
Yes.
skip it or watch it, and best performance.
Pretty simple on the skip it or watch it. Watch it if you have a connection to the Warcraft series. Otherwise, I would definitely say don't watch it if you do not have one. Although, watch out for the future. Maybe some of the future ones will be good. Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so. Probably not, but I hope so. And what was it? Best actor?
Best performance.
Best performance. I'm going to stick with Dominic Cooper, just because the most emotional point in the movie, which is the whole long scene around where he dies, was probably the only part that felt kind of emotional to me and not ridiculous, like Lothar's son dying, which is very obvious. I mean, not that it wasn't emotional at all. It's just...
No, that scene was pretty bad.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. But
yeah, it's not good.
But that for me was the most emotional part of the movie. Not necessarily saying a lot, but hey, he did it, and he didn't have to necessarily say a lot to do it, and that pressed me a little bit. But I like Durotan too.
Yeah.
And Draka.
What about you, Sean?
For me, it's simple. Like, it's a skip for me. But like you said before, if you're a fan, you might really like this movie. I don't know. My best performance though was going to be Paula Patton because I love her. But you did make me realize, once I knew who Toby Kebbell was and who he played, that I really liked that performance as well. I really did like, in spite of the CGI being so against rubbing me the wrong way this time, I swear. But I did really like and appreciate his performance in spite of that. So I'll give it to him, Toby.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of echo Sean a little bit and Quinn a little bit. This movie, if you're not a fan of the source material, you are not going to like this movie. That's just kind of the long and the short of it. It's got so much going on that you need to know prior to watching it that it's probably going to be way too confusing. That being said, if you have any kind of prior knowledge or experience or exposure to the Warcraft lore, you're a fan of the games, check it out, because it does a pretty good job of sticking to the lore. And best performance for me is Toby Kebbell as Durotan. I mean, he like I mentioned, he does a better job of being a human performer than the actual human performers in the film.
Oh, man.
Which is kind of sad.
Yeah, I agree.
In its own way.
The cartoonish armor that they wear that makes their shoulders look 5 times as big as they actually are doesn't help. They look like fucking...
Yeah, they look ridiculous. The humans in this film look insane. I mean, they just look so hokey. which maybe that's why it helps, I guess. The orcs look like they fit in their armor.
Yeah.
So, however, our opinions aside, what do you guys think the film has on Rotten Tomatoes?
So I looked up the ratings before I went and watched it, although I'm sure it's changed a little bit. But I'm going to go with 25%.
Oh, snap.
Is what I think it is.
Man, I thought I was going to be rough and say like 30%.
29%. That would be rotten. Warcraft has visual thrills to spare, but they, and director Duncan Jones' distinctive gifts, are wasted on a sluggish and derivative adaptation of a best-selling game with little evident cinematic value. However, what do you think the film has from the audience?
I think that's higher.
You'd be right, but how much higher?
75%.
I'm gonna guess 58%.
81% out of 46,000.
Wow.
Damn.
What am I thinking?
People like their CGI.
Yeah.
I mean, people are fans of Warcraft.
People like their Warcraft.
And that too. It's easy to underestimate how many people's lives have been touched by Warcraft.
Well, I'm just assuming that anyone who loved the video game went and saw the movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So
why wouldn't you?
So, before I talk about the next episode of the Kulturecast, Sean, anything you want to plug?
Nothing new yet, although there are things in the making, so let's hope. Let's keep our fingers crossed. But as always, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm Seanifer, and on Facebook, I'm Sean Liang.
You can follow me on Twitter at CultureStash. And if you like what you're listening to now, head on over to cultureshock.com/Kulturecast to check out 100 plus episodes of the Kulturecast. You can also find us on any podcast app on Android and or iOS. Big thanks as always to Evoca for providing the intro outro music for the Kulturecast. That lovely song you hear at the beginning and the end is their song Lament. If you want to kick a couple dollars our way, head on over to patreon.com/culture_shocked and kick a couple dollars our way. It is not free or cheap to keep the lights on at 0069 Culture Shock Tower, so any little bit helps. Big thanks as always to you, Quinn, for sitting down and talking with us. It's always a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, and thanks for having me on. It's always a hell of a lot of fun.
The Warcraft man himself.
Himself.
In the next Kulturecast, we're going to be getting back to our June-Jitsu martial arts themed films, and we're going to be talking about the critically acclaimed film The Raid. So make sure to check that one out.